spiraling nature of life. And when we take a spiral image, whether it's a carving on an ancient rock, or whether it's a drawing inside in a very old cave, the spiral always is part of a pattern that humans have recognized, is archetypally and metaphorically able to communicate a lot. And I've come to see that all of the ancient and old texts and cave paintings and carvings, they're all two-dimensional. Because if they had to make the spiral three-dimensional, it would be a little bit complicated, because you'd have to find a rock, and a really big one, that has about this shape. And then you'd have to kind of carve out everything that is not of the spiral in order to get the spiral. So it makes sense that it's a lot easier to put just the concept in two-dimensional form on the rock formation or on pergament. And I found in any form of symbolism the intrigue within myself to visualize the three-dimensional proportion of that. The three-dimensional, what is that image really? What, this flower of life, are they really all circles? Because are there really circles in nature? I mean, like literal flat circles that are just a line, and we find these hoops just out in nature falling off the trees as a fruit. It's called a hoop fruit. No, I have yet to find the hoop fruit that is simply just a full spherical, very thin ring that we would call a circle. And so the three-dimensional reality that they couldn't articulate for us in the olden days, because they didn't leave a note or an attachment to the file on the wall that said, this is actually needing to be visualized in a three-dimensional reality. Once I through the study of syntropy and nature, learned that this 2D has just been a communication form to elicit to the unfolded and the open folded full reality. And in that, we can see in this archetype and this symbol of the spiral that is true for all of life. And so as the youngling grows, its world is very small, and the spiral has just begun. And it is very close to the mother, wants to be very close to the mother. Let's hope that it had a beautiful entry into the world where it gets nurtured and nourished and gets to suckle. And slowly, as it moves through time, its circle of attention and the world around it starts becoming more available to it, because it is no longer just focused on the mother connection and the nourishment that it's requiring to grow. But the world grows as we grow older. We see more, we venture out more, we become 5, we get to ride a little bicycle, and all of a sudden our little backyard became so much bigger, because we actually were able to drive around through the little area, whether we call that our suburban block or whatever we end up with. Our terrain, our territory starts expanding. And then as we grow older, on every strata of what it constitutes to be a human being, we have expansion of awareness. We have expansion of knowledge of the world outside of the visual world. We turn on the television and we learn about the world on the other side of the earth. And there is a continual expansion going on. And when our spiraling expansion of the increase of quantity and quality of consolidated life, if that quantity and quality of life that is wired for expansion, if that gets stagnant, what gets inculcated in the world seemingly happening to us is the necessary change for an up-leveling, so that new terrain and new experience and new adventure will lead us to continuously be on the spiraling journey to expand to. And that's what I call the hero's journey. That is not a one time. Yeah, we have, again, that pattern drawn out, and some of you may know the circle of the hero's journey, where it starts. You're at home, and an event happened, and you get kicked out of the nest, or you leave the comfortable environment, and then the hero's journey starts. And in the end, the hero always comes back to the point where it left from. It comes back to reconnect with the community that it left, or the birthplace that it came from. And the purpose in that is that on this hero's journey, we gain experience, and we gain insight, and we gain understanding, and we gain our eyes become unclouded. We start seeing that there is such a greater reality, and we want to bring that back. And this is part of the hidden gifts in our human ecology, is that when we learn, grow, and expand and comprehend, and we have expansive experiences, there is an intrinsic and innate sense of attraction that wells up from us, that we want to start sharing that with those that we, quote unquote, left behind. And we then bring the gifts and the insights and the gems and the stories. Through story, we bring that back, and we want to inspire. We want to express with those that are our familial bonds, our friends, our connections. We want to share because our experience was so rich, and we learned that, wow, in this hero's journey, this human experience, there's more available, and we want to inspire others to explore what else is available. And every human being in there, whether they're in a spiral that we could maybe see, is this man is 50 years old, and he just walks to the rice field, and he walks back home, and he walks to the rice field and walks back home, and we may see, oh, that's a very small spiral. The same pattern and the same innate processes are alive for him. And the same larger hero's journey from birth to death is alive for him. And it's just beautiful to recognize for myself the humanity in what it means to be on the spiraling journey, to navigate that more consciously and being more present with that is actually what is part. It's not so much what's part of our experience, is that that's actually the journey that we're on. Continual growth and expansion, and more insight and more depth and more feelings that lead to us exploring more of our inner world. I feel that we all came here with the qualities inherent in each of us to become master navigators of this spiraling dynamic that we call life, the journey, the human experience, the human experiment. And knowing that we have this ability to become masterful, to train ourselves in our ability to show up for this journey more with presence, and more with acceptance, and more with a sense of surrender, so that life can lead us, so that life can show us, so that life can give us the resources and the experiences, so that we indeed do grow and expand. In my understanding of syntropic agroforestry and succession in nature, we can become allies consciously and willfully with life performing its function for and through us. And when we do that, our growth and our expansion becomes richer. It doesn't become better or bigger or more amazing than other people. It's unique to our own. But I have found that there is more nutrient dense and nutrient rich experience available for those willing to consciously choose to become navigators of their life's journey, become the co-creators of our life story. And that is always a hero's adventure. And that's what I feel to contribute into this space, because we are each called on so many occasions to to answer that call to adventure, to take this impactful experience of losing the job and to take it as an opportunity, to take it as a call to adventure onto an expansive journey in which we can come to learn more of ourselves, more of the world, more of other people's circumstances and how they navigate. And we always then get the opportunity to share that back to the community that we stepped away from. And I see in that a beautiful cyclical nature that is very three-dimensional and is very sense felt. And it's for me a strong passion to call out other people in their spirited nature to say yes to those calls to adventures, to say yes to the journey more consciously, because it's happening for us and through us so that we can indeed have a richer experience, so that we can indeed give back to the community with more insight, with more story that is uplifting and inspiring, so that others also may find the courage within them to take that step and to surrender into the process that life is offering us.